What's up everyone, Alchemist Lion here, and we are sitting in Canny Valley. And I've covered home base, we've looked at imp amp. Today, at long last, we are going to cover the next amp, going counterclockwise here, and it's down here, kind of to the east, and it is called Tunnel Amp. And we call it Tunnel Amp because there's two tunnels, right there, and right over there that the husk like to pass through, and then there's these big canyons that they also will pass through. And what we'll do today is look at how I have this set up with the one Trap Schematic Endurance, which is basically using wall darts only, in particular just one type of wall dart, to do an entire Canny Valley Endurance. So let's take a look at how the heck I get this one done. So let's get the basics out when it comes to Tunnel Amp. It spawns from the north and from the east. And the fun thing with Tunnel is if you have Tunnel, you're going to have a cross spawn. And cross spawns are pretty much the main reason why Canny is difficult. The terrain sucks, but once you get the premise of trapping, and I was guilty of this, I hated Canny. I always avoided it because the terrain just really threw me off. But once you kind of get around it and know where they spawn and how they're going, it's actually pretty easy. I mean, obviously, if you get away with it with one trap, there's a lot that can be done. So yeah, we'll take a look at how I have them pathed, how I have it set up that this can win, because ultimately you could add ceilings and floors and change some of the traps to make this a really, really solid functioning build. And for the mind-blowing proof that it works.
You enjoy that anomaly slurping down your life force, rookie? I didn't think so!
Yeah, see, they haven't even touched it yet. Like, I don't know. I always get so nervous. I'm going to start on the east spawn, just because it kind of goes in the counterclockwise direction that I'm going with, but also it's because I don't have this as my cross spawn. I don't have flex, so I don't get this. If I had flex, the dart only would be a little bit more of a challenge, and I'd probably have to do a few different things, simply because I'd lose some of this down here to spawns going that way. But I don't have it, so I can get away with some of this, and I'll show you how I do the cross spawn over on the other side. If there's any issues on this build going the full wave 30, which it does go AFK, I would say probably about like 7 out of the 10 times. But 3 of the times, just if the randomness hits in the cross spawn too much, it really does just wipe it out. And that's going to be an issue no matter what. Especially, I don't have max trap durability. I pull all this off with a good, around 260, 270. So I don't even have the max 344. But let's go into the spawns. I'm not going to go over the... I've covered it a lot. I mean, there's lots of videos out there that cover how they spawn in, but you'll see where I start building, and that's really the main part, is just where you're building and how you're pathing. There's 3 pathways, and I have 2 of them blocked off. The shared one, going up with Imp spawn, we have this blocked off, and we've covered this with Imp, so I won't go into too much detail, but it's a dual serving block off layering. The other way is on the north side here through the canyon. I do not take them through that way. I have it blocked off, and you'll see how I have it all set up. Your standard block off, it goes basically 3 deep down. And then I have it darted out anywhere it's kind of facing outwards this way. Could I add more to reinforce it? I could, but I was trying to still save myself structures. I'm 400 underbuilt in this, and I kind of wanted to keep it around that because I want to have some flexibility, because my goal is I'm just going to convert this afterwards and have like an ultimate canny build where I know that the darts alone will work, but I'm going to add some floors and ceilings to all the pathing and really make it good. But yeah, this is still, I mean, this is a more solid build than my underbuild, as sad as that is to say sometimes. It is solid. These darts do so much damage. I've come to really appreciate the darts with this build. So you'll see how I have the spawn set up. Going right into it, they're going to drop down. If they're coming over here, they can move up and then drop down, I believe, over here, but it just puts them right back into the tunneling system. And so how I have it set up, you'll see I have this double layered. Some of this does break over time, but again, with this system, I was building this whole base knowing, especially with propane, smashers, some of the darts are going to get gone, and it's just a matter of planning for that and trapping for that. So you see on this end, I have like the 4 dart system cutting in here. So we're building off of this from Imp, and we're just carrying it across, leaving one space kind of right at the very end, and then we're trapping with floors here. I don't have a dart here simply because I don't want to set anything off before they walk in here. I want this to be the first tile, and technically they're going to try to cheat and skip ahead. And so I'm just kind of letting them do that as best as possible, but the terrain here is giving me a little bit of that like short wall block off that will make them walk around it. Like I said, some of this will break, and like that piece isn't really necessary. So from there, in between the block off and this first row of pathing, we have this just to make the move around. This wall will probably eventually break, so it's more just to start with killing them. After a while, they'll break through, but it just gives you a few extra, rounds where they're walking around this way and getting hit by a few extra darts. But then they move around this way, and then they cut in, and they're going to go right through this tunnel. And the tunnel is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's limited room, but they allow you to build in it completely now, which is nice. And so we're just capitalizing on that and really just hitting them with as much darts as possible as they're walking through, and making them path so they're at least walking the full length of a tile, so they're not like shortcutting any of this. It slows them down too, which makes the darts reload faster, and you get a double hit off when they're walking through like this way, for example. And then I rarely see anything come out this way, but if they did, once you're out of the tunnel, we have this set up, and it's again just a dart. You could, I believe here, you could do this to give yourself some extra, so you can give yourself some extra block off there to make them path around that way instead of just charging at it. I just haven't needed to, so I haven't done that. But those are all just things that I've really started to appreciate more when doing like a more gimmicky style base where I'm not needing the floors, and I'm relying on other traps to get it done, because this definitely makes them path a little bit different. and it's nice. So yeah, they just walk around, and again, anywhere they're going, they're being hit by the 4 darts, anywhere in the back end here, until they're hitting close to the amp. After that, I mean, whatever's getting through here, I'm just trying to hit them and pierce them at that point, before they get over to the amp over here. But yes, that is the east spawn. It's very, basic, because it's literally just a single line of pathing for the majority of it. There's not a lot to that part. It's mostly just how you get the start and how you kind of finish it off afterwards, in case they do decide to blow everything up. And basically any wall I have darts on it, just to solidify the fact that if something breaks, there's more behind it to help. So that's a really easy side to get done. And like I said, I've never seen that one have issue. The only issues, if you ever have anything, it's going to be on random problematic waves when it's coming from the north. And that's where we're going to take a look next. And there is like a kind of a 4th bonus pathing, but it's mostly reserved for flingers. And they like to walk up here and then come up over here and then try to get over here to throw out the amp. To combat that, it's basic. We have, your standard little block off on this corner up here. Again, the pathway's, down, and the amp's over there. And this is mostly just from the east spawn. So they'll come up here, and then we have this all set up. Again, 3 darts here. And then if they did happen to go right through, there's still more block off. I mean, they don't even come up here because this is all up here already. You take some of this away and they start to path this way, but this really just makes them not even try to come up here. And then if they wanted to drop down here, we have like a 4 dart thing stopping them this way with, again, a little extra block off. Yeah, pretty straightforward setup up here. Alright, so here we are in the cross spawn. We are doing tunnel lamp right now, but this is a cross spawn for sinkhole, which we'll cover into the next video. Now, normally in Canny, when it comes to cross spawns, you think spawn trapping. At least I do, because that's the best way to do it. But with no ceilings, that's really limited, because I have darts down here, but the spawns break a lot of them. So you can't get a lot of spawn trap killing. I'm getting away with what I can get away with for as long as I can get away with it, but it doesn't last long. Unlike having ceilings, which if you're ever doing a build, I would highly recommend the ceilings more so than just doing this. But I'm just trying to get whatever I can with where the challenge is darts only. So they kind of spawn down and over here, so you'll see kind of how I have these darts set up. It's not a science, it just I've watched it a bunch to see what would break and what wouldn't and how long things last. Certain waves, different ones will break, so I'm trying to just give myself the best shot possible. I have it lined up this way, and then we have the front set up like this. And you'll notice that there's 2 main paths. The main thing is there is like the, flinger taker thing. I have this all just blocked off like this. I did set it up to dart them if they wanted to come up. I just haven't needed to yet, but it was all set up to have darts up here just in case. But you'll notice everything the way it's blocked off, they just end up walking down. So I haven't had to do that, and I've never had an issue on that with the way it's set up there. They'll want to walk, and the tunnel system in here I blocked off. And I did my best. There is some issues with you can't build pieces in certain spots on here. So unlike the other tunnel side where they fixed it and you can build in certain spots, here you're still limited. So I built this. Again, some of it will break, but it holds them off enough to avoid them going out over here. And you'll notice everywhere there can be a dart, there is a dart. There's a dart on that side of that too. And I just kind of hopped over and then placed the wall and put a dart on that side. And so it's all just blocked off. And that's enough to get them to go over here. And now you see I have them pathing down, and then I have this set up very interesting. This is it's in layers, and it's that way for a reason. And this is the only way I can get this done. Because of the cross spawns, because of the issues with how limited of space you have after the spawn to the amp, like if you look, it's like very close. Like you got very limited tiles, and the terrain's not in your favor really. So yeah, like I said, innovative. We have two different, like we have this little corridor like the walk through. What I've done is I set up a ramp. Now you'll know if you've done this, these ramps will break very quickly, especially where I don't have sound walls or anything to heal this as they're going up. Normally I'd be doing a cone and editing it up into a ramp and then putting a trap on it or something. But I just have a stairwell. So they're gonna want to break this. I've only had one run in like 30 or 40 runs where this has not been broken, and that was the most solid run I think I ever had. But it's a rare one. So normally it will break, but for the first couple of times that this amp gets hit, it doesn't break. So they path up here. And these traps are what's being used. And everything is good. As soon as this breaks, and you'll see, it is Death Trap City in here. We have the darts from behind, and they're getting hit with 4 darts every 6.5 seconds as they're trying to break through. And it's not just like that on that one. It is like that in every single spot as they're walking up. I could even do floors and do more block off down there. Again, I haven't needed to, but it is like that on both sides as well. So even if they like started breaking through this side, it's the exact same thing on both sides up until this point. And this is where I want them to walk around and try to go up and then get hit by more darts. Again, I could be using more block off, you know, not wood obviously, but I can do more block off to really get them to do it my way. I just haven't needed to yet, but there's lots more I could do with extra structures to make it even more durable, this tunnel side and how this works. So again, they're pathing up right up here. This is where the darts are lining that corridor. As soon as they break that ramp, they're going to bust through here. And then the only way up is right up here. And again, it's the 4 dart thing. I could always be putting more floors and stuff here, but I'm trying to guide them down this particular path because if I want them to break through anywhere, it's right up here because this is kind of where I have it set up that I want them to come out at. And you'll just see it's just all blocked off down there. And then up here, this is after they get off the path, this is where I want them to break through. So this is where they were going through, the tunneling, and this is the new path I want them to go up. And eventually they're both coming out the exact same spot. So it's basically just toying with them and giving them a fail-proof tunnel system that if, you know, option 1 breaks, we have option 2 taking over and doing just as much damage. And then they get up here. And it's basically just 4 darts, and we're luring them to the amp, but they don't want to go here. They want to walk around, so we're getting some extra tiles. Just leaving it open like this, they will path around and go around here and get hit by these darts and then these darts. And there is amp damage occasionally. You know, it's not one of those builds where I'm looking for extreme durability. I wanted to get to the end. I mean, it's a challenge. It's more just about accomplishing it than like blasting it. I can blast this by putting other traps on. I just wanted to show this was possible. So there are husks that will get through. Very rare does this amp not take damage just because of the cross spawn aspect, but this is solid. The pathing, I was trying to find so many different ways how to get this done because you have such a limited option, and the husks are brutal. Between the smashes and propane, like I said, these builds, you can tell the difference from wave 1 to wave 30 and how much damage the husks do. But the fact that it can hold up is insane. But yeah, so they're going up and they go to the amp. And you'll see how I have the amp set up there. There's like that cross piece. A few things like this set up blockwise. So if they do break something, there's traps in behind still, even though it's a small little like 2-tile area. There's still traps if they break this. If they break right here, there's still traps there. If they break this piece, we still have the traps over here doing their thing. So yeah, that is how this is set up. And that's it for today. This is Tunnel Amp. I appreciate your time. I hope you enjoy the build. This is fun. This is a cool challenge for me. I really didn't think this was possible. So it's cool to take things that, you know, dynamics of the game and really just push them to their limits to see what you can pull off. This has been an awesome experience. I really hope you do enjoy. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate your time. Have yourself a great day. I'll catch you around.